National Conference on Sustainability, and we are seeing two enriching sessions in the morning, and now for the third session we have with us Dr. Angel Leda, who is the Dean of IQAC and Associate Professor of Chemistry, Bishop Heber College, Trichy. And ma'am is a erudite scholar, seasoned researcher, academician, and a very down-to-earth, simple person. And she has done her graduation in American College at David Oak and her PhD in Bharatidasan University. And in 2000, as early as 2000, she has completed her NET, and as soon as she has completed that, since 2000 she is with Bishop Heber. For the past 25 years, she is working in Bishop Heber College, and she has worked in various capacities, and she has built very high portfolios, and she has been part of every deanery I heard, and she is a very trusted and dedicated person to the institution. And ma'am has completed 3 funded projects, and from United Home, DST, Women Scientists, and TN, and also from TLST. And she has held a lot of academic and administrative responsibilities, and she has received the prestigious United Board Christian Higher Education Fellow for the year 2021. Ma'am has published many papers in national and international journals. She has served as Board of Studies, as a member of Board of Studies, and ma'am is also working in her institution to bring sustainability into the curriculum. As she was sharing with me today, they are also implementing it, and as a Dean of IQAC, ma'am has been very meticulously doing it in her knowledge to implement bringing SDGs into the curriculum. So she is the right and apt person to address us also on the topic is bringing SDGs into the curriculum. And I thank ma'am for accepting our invitation and taking the pains to travel all the way and come and be with us today. So thank you so much, ma'am, and you can have the session.
Honoring the resource person, I invite Dr. Angel Sunna, convener, IQAC coordinator, to honor the resource person with a song. I invite Dr. Taman Selvi, assistant IQAC coordinator, to present a memento as a token of love. Thank you, professors.
A very good afternoon to all the faculty members of this college, J.R. Janathan College for Women, the principal, vice principal, the coordinator of IQAC, the heads, and all the fellow teachers. I'm really delighted to meet you all today. As a fellow teacher, it's a joy to meet new people, new teachers, and have a conversation with you. I'm standing before you not as an expert in SDG or as a person who knows in and out of this, future we all expect what would happen in the next few moments. So I'll just ask you, I'll start with a question. I invite you to just respond and communicate so that we can break the silence here. What do you think are SDGs practically made for countries like India? What do you feel? What is your opinion after listening to the previous two talks? What do you think?
It should start from us. We should not see outside. It should start within. That is the true meaning of connecting all such things.
Yes, there is always one ideal learner in a big class, I understand. Thank you, ma'am, for your opinion. Anyone else?
I think no country can be spared from practicing this. It is a global, these are global goals. And we have identified ourselves, or we identify ourselves as global citizens. And so how can we be spared? It has to be started to sail along with other countries.
Wonderful.
If we want to progress, and we are bent on progressing, so we need it.
Yes, we need it.
And I think we have already started. Without giving the name, these goals are there. We have been practicing the goals, though we have not given this name. Thank you, ma'am.
Are we practicing these goals 100% in every walk of life? So recently, you must have heard about the 2020-23 summit, summit for the future. They call this the Future Summit, where the global leaders again came together to take stock of what happened to the SDGs, where they achieved our countries progressing, and countries have been ranked based on the progress, based on the steps they are taking. And at the end of all the analysis and all the reports, the committee concluded that the world has progressed only 15% with respect to the 17 SDGs and the 163 targets. They have divided the countries into the global north and the global south, and I think the previous resource people must have told you about the global south is yet to perceive SDG and implement more of it in their system. Very few are foreigners in this. And I remember the last word in the talk of the UN Secretary, Antonio. He said he is giving up on countries. He said that I'm just fed up the way the world leaders are taking SDGs forward. The globally important developed countries are not quite serious about fossil fuel usage. They are not serious or they are not taking the responsibility to change their environment or the management based upon the SDGs. And they are turning a deaf ear to very serious issues like poverty, even in such developed countries. And he said, I'm giving up. And he said one thing, that now I turn back to the youngsters. My only hope is the young people in the group, that is the conference representatives or the summit representatives from various countries. And he said the Global Youth Federation should take this forward, and I entrust this to the youth of this world. It is they who are going to do the change in the coming years, and they should take more ownership of the SDGs rather than the global leaders who at times are just ticking, and they are going to finish their leadership roles. They are going to pass the buck the next in line. So this was his concluding statement. So the UN General Secretary is looking towards the youth of the world to take ownership of SDGs. As educators, it is now on our part, the ball is on our court to take that up and make our youth own it, feel empowered, understand the reality, and understand it is not quite easy to solve the issues at hand. Clean environment, everybody wants. But what to do with the garbage? Please tell me, as women, I just ask you all, what do we do with the garbage? Do we have any viable solution? A one-stop solution for the whole world? The simple reuse of garbage or recycling of garbage that is created at home, you're not able to be sustainable. On ground, we all know that implementing these sustainable goals are not so simple. And we cannot think for solutions in a very conventional way. The solutions needs to come from very innovative, out of the box solutions which were not grounded on the earlier knowledge, something quite new, which we as elders and we as people from the previous generations, maybe the baby boomers, we may not be able to think about such wonderful solutions. Maybe I'm very pessimistic about it, I'm sorry, but it needs such out-of-the-box thinking and new solutions for problems. So the problems at hand is quite complex. It's not easy to solve. And unless we solve it, the whole world is going forward for the doomsday. Right? So, looking at this and the urgency of the matter, we need to at least give our students an awareness, knowledge about the SDGs, and we have to skill them sufficiently so that they will be able to take up this initiative and they will be able to bring in voluntarily new solutions. And we should be ready to let them free, give them the free hand to explore and find out new viable options for the global reality and the globally complex problems at hand. So, what should we do? We have to integrate the SDGs into our curriculum. And integrating inside our curriculum doesn't mean simply adding some jargons and words and mapping the courses. Needs to be realized as outcomes of our learning. The course objectives that we have and the course outcomes that we expect should be aligned or should be mapped with that of our SDGs. So now, you know that the NAR, the National Institution Ranking Framework, is now opening a new ranking category called as sustainability institutions which are practicing sustainability, and they are encouraging them and they are offering a new ranking category for sustainable institutions. I'm sure this institution, which is in a very green environment, preserving the greenery and the landscape, the native plant species, I think such institutions have the opportunity to compete in this category of sustainable institutions for NARF. And the World University Ranking, Times World University Ranking has introduced this in 2020, and they are ranking world universities under the sustainable practices. So they have identified not just institutions which are top-notch, giving maximum placements like IITs, IIMs, which are built in forest areas, occupying forest land, right? So they are talking about institutions which are sustainable, adopting sustainable practices, and they are giving ranking to them. And they are giving the same 4-star, 5-star ranking, and UGC is also promoting sustainability in institutions. So it is very important that we move to this. We need to help our students contextualize the importance of SDGs and implement it in our curriculum. culture of peace, non-violence, global citizenship. So this is the target for all the educational institutions. Who else can do this but us? This one target is exclusively for all the educational institutions. Recently, I was listening to a TED talk about what will be the ideal age to teach SDG to for students. What will be the ideal age? What do you think? At what age can we teach SDG? An ideal age, an age where they can perceive, understand the concept.
When they started to walk,
When they started to walk, oh my God, all faculty members here are well aware of everything. I think the session is not done. They've identified that age 3 might be the ideal age where the values are set. The value conception is made in the human brain, and at that age itself, they have developed curriculum with storytelling, with small concepts like where does the water come from? Where does my apple come from? No, and then teach them what is the path the water is traveling, how many stages it's crossing, and also right from the age 3, it is possible to teach SDG. So at higher education institutions, it is not at all going to be difficult. The only thing is we need to give some autonomy, we need to give some freedom, we need to give students some more resources and revenue for them to go and explore and take pride of doing this SDGs in their communities. Are governments going far enough to achieve the SDG goals? Are our governments taking sufficient steps? What do you think? So sometimes we used to think that everything that government wants to do, they'll throw it back to the educational institutions. Come on, you do this, you do that. Right? So if they want, demand ratio to be, the gross enrollment ratio to increase, now for that the institutions to go behind drop-offs, bring them back to the schools, colleges. So everything the government foresees should be there is thrown back to the institutions. So are the governments reaching far enough? What do you think as academicians? What is the price of petrol in India? How much is the government's contribution? How much is the individual's contribution? The government is supplying free CNG cylinders to homes, while it can very well adopt renewable energy sources which are less demanding on the environment. And we call it welfare schemes. So there has to be a dramatic change in the way the governments adopt certain schemes, foresee and promote certain schemes in the public. So I think personally the governments are not really taking up quite seriously. And because of what? Because of what? Think of a situation when it's raining, the roads are bad. What do we want the governments to do? Rainy season, bad roads get damaged, it's very bad, not quite good for the travel. What do we demand? We demand good roads. The next day, tar is poured on the pit holes, fills, and the land becomes unperforating. It will not percolate water inside. Again, what we demand as communities from the government, and the government does not have viable alternatives. The government is not having solutions at hand. What will the government do? So it is now a two-edged sword. Both the ends are now pointing on us. On one hand, educationists academicians, researchers are not finding alternatives, the right alternatives, and suggesting it to the government to be implemented. On the other hand, we are also not empowering, and we are also not teaching our children, giving them the responsibility to ask responsible things to the government as citizens. Not just ask the government to give every benefit, every resource that we require, but ask responsibly to serve as responsible citizens of the country. So both the ends are pointing at us, the educators. So on this scenario, it is very, very important. We need to give them the knowledge, skills, and motivation to tackle the complex sustainable development challenges. We are sitting on plastic chairs. We are using power which is generated from the Neyveli Lignite Corporation. Most of it comes from it. Even Tamil Nadu depends on this, right? So all these things, take up anything, all these needs alternatives. So the solutions which are needed are quite large. There are millions of opportunities for us to look for alternative, better, viable, sustainable solutions. But we are simply enjoying the present scenario. We are simply satisfied by enjoying the available resources, taking pride of what was not earlier available for our earlier generation, and now it is available to us. So that complacency cannot help education, and we have to give students the real courage to be citizens of the future. What will this do? Like, suppose you want to integrate SDGs. Now we integrate SDGs into our curriculum. What will it do? We want to see that our students become proactive. After taking up these lessons, they become proactive learners. They think global and start to think about their local community. What is lacking in my community? In what way I can go and solve the problem? And we will be channelizing their energy the right way if we can take in this SDGs and really give a go in our curriculum. It will also be a step towards making a curriculum futuristic. The National Education Policy says you give all the skills they need, to take them to the industries, train them in the industries, give them apprenticeship, let them have experience in the industries, corporates. They are ready to skill them. What if you skill them but do not tell them what kind of a future they are going to face? And what if we skill them but do not give them the skills required to solve tomorrow's problems? So solving tomorrow's problems, today's tools are not sufficient. Today's training is not sufficient. We need to give them, the opportunity to go towards the future. So we have to push them, think about the future and become the future leaders. Innovation. We need to, if we say we are going to integrate SDGs in curriculum, we need to include innovation in our curriculum. We need to give the space for innovation, the room for innovative ideas from the students, the freedom for the students to go and explore the communities, go ask questions to the authorities, interact with the authorities and learn, take a survey, go to the reality and learn. So the outcomes that we expect is that our students will become innovative so that they will be future leaders. So if that is the idea, what kind of a curriculum are we going to give? Can we have a lecture session? 90% lecture, 10%, 90% lecture and 10% innovation. 80% lectures, 20% practicals. And practicals, experiments, then how are we going to train our students to be future leaders, futuristic? How are we going to scale them for the future? So all these needs a relook, a rethinking, and upside down, thinking is required. Here I have given you some case studies which are found on the United Nations document. The University of Auckland, New Zealand, they have taken the undergrads on a research on the terrestrial ecosystem in the area of Auckland, and they have submitted a report of the full flora, a survey of the full flora and fauna of the Auckland city. And from that they have identified some of the predatory wild species of plants which are intruders in their terrain, and they have given advocacies to the government to remove those plants. So what an interesting one, right? So this is one case which was discussed in detail. All these cases are given in UN's document, and I am sharing the link for all this also. And for this particular initiative, the World University, Times World University ranking, they have honored them in 2020 for 2021 for this initiative as a sustainable institution. China, we always call this a notorious country for all bad practices, but see, China, one university in China has worked for clean and affordable energy, completely hydrogen energy, a small plant. Students were given the opportunity to design a small plant to store hydrogen and to recharge it to vehicles. And then, this is another institution which was awarded for the Times World Ranking Sustainability. Can we do something like this? Why not? Countries like India, where we need a lot of solutions, like your institution, you are lying in an agricultural area, lot of agricultural opportunities are there to give suggestions to agriculturists, farmers, workers, blockchain management, sending their produce to the market. There are so many things where solutions are needed which are focused on SDGs. If we can take up, which is very much problems which are local, which are going to answer our problems, I'm sure we are also going to be awarded by the World University ranking. Right? And this Brazil, I think you will agree that Brazil is a very underdeveloped country, not as developed as India. Now, this country's University of Sao Paulo, they have taken a work in ending poverty among other institutions in the vicinity. Right? They have sent student groups to collect funds, create resource pool of money, and then fund very small businesses and feed people who are homeless and foodless. And this scheme was initiated, planned, and then it was handed over to the government, and the government takes it up and runs it. So such schemes can be perceived by us also, and we can include our students also in such schemes. Environment Center, Federal University of Pará in Brazil. Amazon, the forest regions of Amazon, mostly uninhabited. A lot of habitat, forest interaction, and human-wildlife interaction issues arise on that area. And this group of students from this particular institution went on a 3-month tenting program. They were there in the borderline or the borders of this area, and they were asked to study the interaction between animals through remote sensing. were able to give suggestions to the government. A lot of such cases are there. A typical algebra class. An algebra class. This happened in a university in Sudan, a very small African country, where the large-scale dam assessment was taken up by students during the flood and during the drought. And they have used the algebra and modeled the problem, and they have given suggestions as to how to control and to prevent drought as well as flood. Such programs needs a lot of time. Students need to invest time away from their class hours, and it may run beyond the program. It may need students to learn concepts in deeper perspective, more involved and engaged learning. Such opportunities are also there for us. And one more case study I found interesting was when class of economy class for students of engineering was offered in the Tanzania's university, and where they studied the water supply system to the villages. So is it possible, is such things possible in our context also? Such things are possible in our context also. Right? So you can find such reading, such case studies, more such case studies here. Have your mobiles, you can just take a snapshot, or I will leave the PowerPoint where you can use these documents to read these cases. Now the United Nations, they formed a special committee, and they have given a document, a guidelines to tell institutions how to accelerate this education plan for SDGs, because we are going quite slow. Right, so they want us to go quite, take up this very seriously and implement SDGs as much as we can. And this document, Accelerating Education for SDGs in Universities, this is a guidebook based on which all institutions can think of implementing, how to go about implementing SDGs in the curriculum. And Education for Sustainable Development, this is also another document was released. You can use all these. And there's principles for responsible management education, especially for the B schools, the business institutions, how responsible they are in bringing up responsible managers, leaders. They know inclusive leadership is important, servant leadership is important, but how many of them are really inclusive leaders? So what is the responsibility on the management institutions? A separate document, a blueprint has been released. We can use these documents, and they give us a clear roadmap on there. This PRME is a very good, easy to understand, elusive document for all academicians to read and understand how to implement them in their curriculum. So I'm just skipping this. So do we have real examples across India like this? Maybe in the morning, Dr. Priscilla ma'am and Dr. Ablanathan sir must have told you some examples about what are we doing, small steps that Indian institutions are taking. And India is having the 1/3 of learners in the world. Unless we take this to their hands, SDGs to their hands, 1/3 of the youth are going to be unarmed for facing the future. So some of the examples, the Indian Institute of Forest Management in Bhopal, they have introduced a new program, the whole program, which was earlier simply Masters in Forest Management, has now been adopted. The whole curriculum has been changed based upon the framework for adaptive management, and the program has been renamed as Developmental Adaptive Forest Management Masters Program. And if you look at universities abroad, they are now calling programs like this adaptability programs. The that was landslides which people could not survive. The landslide was because of deforestation and the land masses moved all of a sudden. So now you have to rebuild the whole town. When you rebuild, if they are going to build it again the old way, with the concrete buildings which will just collapse like matchsticks during another episode of landslide, that is not going to help the community. So they have developed a sustainable building which will still collapse but then will not cause such serious damages to humankind, and they have given such townships, model townships to Wayanad area. So such good things are happening around India also. We believe this trend will pick up soon and the institutions will take up quite seriously and think about overhauling the complete programs. Some programs need a total revamp. We need to think about, finance management, teach them sustainable finances, institutional management, economics based on sustainable planning. So all these are very, very important. Some of the programs needs a complete revamp in terms of this. And AICTE has recently launched the sustainability concept in engineering, all the engineering degrees. So sciences and arts disciplines, we are still lagging behind and we have to take up, catch up with them. So what can we do? We can give a lot of research projects and programs to students, increase the quantum of research, increase the quantum of individual learner-centered courses rather than conventional courses. That is the one good way by which we can give students the opportunity to go interact with the community and look for biotech sustainable opportunities to learn, like problems to solve. So increase this component. Give more industry-institute collaboration opportunities to students. This we can do. We know some solutions are not going to be possible. We will not be able to get the answers by ourselves. We need industry's help. We can seek industry's help and they can come together with us, and through the industry collaborations we can try to answer some of the real life challenges. Recently we had an industry institute collaborative event. We invited some industrialists in our area, and we had a roundtable discussion with all the teachers. So every department heads and teachers will be accommodated in a roundtable with industrialists from a particular domain. For example, we invited 5 industrialists from one from Tirupur, one from Karur, one from Dindigul area who is owning an oil industry, and people who are doing industries nearby. We invited them. We had a roundtable discussion with them. What are some of the problems? We have collected some problems from our students, from our faculty, and we have a discussion. Where can we collaborate together to work on some serious projects which we can solve together and we can propose or advocate to the government. So such steps can happen in every institution, inviting the industries who are our well-wishers. I'm sure you will also be having industrial people. You can invite them to your campus one day, have such discussions and open up for opportunities to fund your problems, identify problems and seek funds through them. Engaging with communities. We have value courses, we have environment courses, we have human rights courses, gender courses. Are we really engaging them in the communities during these courses? Or are these courses mere lecture courses where we will just teach them, they will take something, they will give something, they will not be able to contextualize their learning and they will not be able to put whatever they we do this, we are not going to lose anything. It is not going to be a loss on part of the institution. It is easy for institutions to scale up and go to the next accreditation if we do real community service through programs like this. So we have to increase the community component, engagement component. And what about the core courses? And I'm sure we cannot compromise on the core courses. We cannot compromise on the core courses unless we give the real justice, the core courses. Our graduates will not be ready for the job market. We need to give due importance. But where can we incorporate them in our core courses as well? So we have to look seriously into how we can tune our curriculum core courses to modern, sustainable way of thinking and concepts which are new and sustainable, which should be incorporated in the core curriculum rather than simply sticking on to it. Maybe this core area we will not be able to give them completely, totally we will not be able to revamp. We have to still give a fresh thought about giving the right perspective. And of course, values and rights courses. We have to increase the number of options for the students to have values and rights courses which will help them realize all the SDGs. So as teachers, we always think, why should we teach these values and rights? I am a science teacher, I am a chemistry teacher. I have so much to teach in commerce. Account student is not able to do. My student doesn't know to calculate, he doesn't know the tallies of them, then why should I teach them all these things? That's not true. If we teach them this and if we lead them to the community, they will learn it themselves. Right? So these are the 5 steps that we can do in order to integrate SDGs into curriculum. First, map possible areas of sustainability course content that you're already teaching. I'm sure you will now agree with me. There are already some content in our courses which is teaching sustainability. Right? There are. So map such courses, identify them, keep them aside. Okay, don't worry about them. Right? So what we are teaching, right? Whatever content that we are teaching with SDGs, let it go with SDGs. But see that the outcomes of those courses are measuring whether the students realize their potential to solve the problems at hand related to the SDGs. The outcomes should be able to measure whether the students have realized that they have the potential and they have the skill, they have the technology and the knowledge to solve this problem at hand related to that SDG. So first step, take your curriculum, segregate all the courses which are already addressing SDGs content, which is already addressing SDG, keep it and segregate it. First, think about how to make it more realistic on ground. Then next important thing you have to do is build capacity and ownership of the education for SDG. Give ownership. So who is going to own which part? So there should be some higher authority. There should be some, people who are given some capacity to implement certain changes in the curriculum. I'm sure there are some junior members or students maybe having some alternative wonderful ideas which can be, used to solve some very important, bottlenecks in implementing certain SDGs. We need to have students across our table for discussion, and we have to have some ownership for them also. Shares some ownership. We can have SDG ambassadors. We can have SDG ambassadors from the top level, from the middle level, from the bottom level at the campus. Involve all of them and then discharge the responsibilities. Who is going to plan for the curriculum? How are we going to plan and put forth? All these needs to go through this SDG committee. So that will be the right way to do, because department says that I have been doing eco-criticism. The Tamil also does the eco-criticism. English also does eco-criticism. And both of them say we are doing the same SDG. And both of them are addressing the same very complacently without dwelling more deeper into it. So such things should be sorted out. So first, segregate such courses, sit together and discuss, form a high-level committee including top, middle and low level. Do you have a board of studies and pre-board of studies? We have now come to an idea of forming a pre-board of studies. We will have all student representatives, the top student and another student, not the topper. We will have such students come together in a board, sit together and tell the teachers about the courses. What do they feel about the course? What they want more. We are preparing food. If we prepare a food which is not relishable, do we prepare food that is not relishable for our children? We ask them, what do you want? We prepare them what they want. But to our students, we never ask them what content they want, what content they relish, what content they want us to include more. So we need to have such kind of a committee which will be able to do this, take ownership of implementing these in the ground level. So that should be the second step. Then the third step should be identifying priorities, opportunities and gaps. So we have set aside some courses where we have already SDGs. Now we have to identify necessary gaps or opportunities to expand them or the priorities. See, for this region, an institution in this region, what is more important? Women empowerment may be more important. Gender equality may be more important here. Contextualize and prioritize certain SDGs after segregating these courses and sit across the table and prioritize them. And go more seriously about those SDGs so that in future you can say your curriculum is quite strong on such SDGs. You have addressed those SDGs quite strongly through your curricular content. Right? Then integrate and implement and then embed. See, unless there is a wider discussion about who is doing what part of this, unless all the departments sit together and discuss, this is my SDG, these are the SDGs I am addressing, these are the contents I am going to dwell in my subject. This discourse doesn't happen across discipline, then we will be overdoing on certain things and we will be neglecting certain important SDGs. So to avoid that, we have to integrate, find courses which can be delivered together. Find common grounds and make those course contents interdisciplinary. That will automatically give flexibility in your curriculum. So two departments, if they are going to offer same content with a slightly different perspective, with addressing one SDG, they both can come together and make it completely new, handle it together, combine the classes or divide the classes as you want, make that particular course interdisciplinary, giving it more autonomy and freedom and flexibility to students. And after you do this, implement it on ground, what you do? Again, you redefine, evaluate and do this. Again and again, redefine, refine what you have already implemented. Now how to do it? How to do it on a systematic way? Can we do it on a systematic way? A simple example I just took. Now, first of all, how to include our SDGs in our outcomes. So the UN is guided, I have taken this from the PRMP blueprint, and this suggests there are 3 ways you can integrate SDGs to your course outcomes. The first way is to map SDGs to your course outcomes, right? Simply identify certain content, as you already said, you have already been doing some courses which have SDG component. So identify them ACS is the American Chemical Society and RC is Royal Society for Chemistry. I think most of you have gone to that, and they have given a complete module for completely mapping SDGs with the targets in education. So let me explain all these three simple ways. Simply mapping the course outcomes with SDGs, mapping the keywords, and also mapping it with targets, specific targets. So one example, right? So you can, this particular course, okay, this is what most of the colleges in India are doing. Just take one of the outcome, put that, see here that one of the outcomes that they say is here, they are going to listen to dominant and marginalized voices in Indian society through such literature, and they will map SDG 10, reducing inequalities. If we do such thing, that is not going to mean anything for our students. They'll just look at that number, that SDG number, that word, and they'll just keep going on. They will not even understand what is it, why is it, just even here, they will never contextualize anything in this. The next level, next thing what you can do, go a little more deeper, go a little more, this is an outcome for an economics course. I just pulled it out. So this particular course on advanced microeconomics says to recall utility theory. The student should recall K2 level or K1 level. But you can use the toolbox, expand your outcome in such a way to recall the utility theory to be more that operates in creating more effective, innovative products and services in various industries. And you see, you can also, the last one, CO6 says to formulate Pareto optimality criterion. But what you can do to formulate Pareto optimality and help in creating more fair and just economic systems that provide equality and social welfare. This is something, it's going something towards the reality. Telling students this particular theory is going to understand this, and don't stop there. At the intermediate level, you can ask them to discuss two examples how Pareto optionality criteria can promote equality and social welfare. Change the question, focusing on the SDG, so that they can understand this principle is only for that particular SDG. At the third level, what you can do, I'm sorry this example I couldn't take only from my subject this morning because nothing came to my memory so quickly from other departments. So this is one course offered for the students of chemistry. It says it is going to address the SDG 12, responsible consumption. And usually the course outcome says, plan a scheme for the synthesis of an organic compound with maximum yield. What is the intent? You need to get a maximum product. Now you change the way the student thinks. The maximum yield you get, you will not get the maximum mark. But then, if you are designing a route, synthetic route which has maximum atom economy, less byproducts, then that route will be awarded more mark. So you can change it, plan a suitable synthetic scheme for preparation of an organic compound with, what is it? I can't see from here. Okay, so let's focus on SDG 12. So you can give like this, ask the student, they will be able to calculate the atom economy for the reaction, and they will be able to suggest new rules how they can do it. So for this course to be really an SDG oriented course, I should give the autonomy for the students to plan their own reaction. I cannot dictate them the experiment procedure, ask them to go do it themselves. I should give them the autonomy, so that means I can give my procedure, ask them to do the calculation the previous day in the class, tell me that my procedure is not atom economy, it is not going to address the SDG 12, and ask them to bring viable solutions from various that SDG is really realized by the student, why they are doing it, how they can do it, how they can take it to an industry in future where they will be employed, and how they can be serving in the institutions that they serve, pulling their institutions towards a future of sustainability, and think about sustainability as a culture, as a lifestyle, as a value, and make this world better. I think I have explained to you what can be done, what should not be done. So I leave it before you open. All the teachers, please think what extent we are going to do. We have the power, we have the autonomy. You are an autonomous institution. You have the freedom to expand the boundaries of education so that you empower your students to be future citizens, global citizens. And I think we will take up the challenge and do it step by step at least slowly progress towards it without giving up. Whether the ranking frameworks, regulatory bodies are asking for us or not, we have as Christian institutions, as autonomous institutions, as responsible citizens, we have the responsibility endowed upon us to do this, implement it, realize that we are also teachers for the future. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I just gave how we can analyze the impact. I think I can take some discussions afterwards.
Dear participants, you can have queries, you can clarify the text.
Practical question. One through from the teacher's side and one probably from the students' point. We completely understand the importance of this. But in real life, every day, when in the students we see, for them the success is getting government job. That is the only area of success. Half of them, they are sent after school. They are sent here. That's it. So they don't even know most of them why they are here. They pass 12, they come here, and to make them study itself it's already very difficult. And so here comes the teacher's role. Already we are from every like morning ma'am was saying, from state education policy says something, national education policy says, UGC says something, NIRF says something. So we change everything, this, that, and in between this we understand all of this. And in rural colleges like ours, like Namuni ma'am said earlier, though we don't name it, we are addressing all this action. Community, I always think service learning, I'm not all due respect. I think that is a first world concept where these children are alienated from suffering mostly. They have only depression and other kind of psychological first world problems. So going and engaging with community is here you step out of our college, which is mostly slum area. Every extension program, every student who is studying here is mostly first generation learners. So quality education, zero poverty, and other things. So many of these SDGs are being addressed by just running this college and we working in this rural environment. So now, along with all this work, extra thing we are doing, now this looks like tiring for us. How practically, what is our motivation to go on? Give us some motivation on that.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. We doing so much in the SDGs doesn't matter. We are born to do it. We are doing it. We have a call on us as Christian institutions. We are doing. We are serving the society. What we are supposed to do is we are supposed to empower and give the students the ownership of the SDGs. We have to transfer what ownership we have to them. are not simply goals, they are the rescue plans for the future. There is no other alternative. We have to do it. So we have to transfer the ownership to the students rather than we delivering. So it must go to a point of being a partner with the student. So more of a partnership will be better than delivering, me giving them sheet taking, be more collaborative. I think you must have heard Dr. Priscilla Ma'am telling about the life program, how it is more collaborative, how students, they bring the problem. They bring the, identify the problem and come. And I probably say because I was also part of that community in my undergraduation. We did our part. So we had that ownership. So to transfer the ownership to the student.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other queries? Dear participants?
Thank you very much. I thank the management, the principal, vice principals, and the dean of coordinator of IQAC for giving me this opportunity. I don't know if my talk was useful or not, but then I had an opportunity to expound my own knowledge in this area. Thank you for the patient listening. Very happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your expertise and your valuable insights, which provided practical guidance on how to integrate sustainability in our curriculum. Now, I invite Dr. Adrian Sarna, convener IQAC coordinator, to propose. Now we have come to the closure of the program. I humbly request all the dignitaries to come to the dais. I invite Reverend Sister Principal, Reverend Sister Secretary, Reverend Sister Mother Superior, and our guest of honor, Dr. A.S. Priscilla from LDC, Dr. Amalanathan from Christ University, and Dr. Angelin from Bishop Campbell. And then Dr. Angelin, some IQAC coordinator and assistant coordinator, Dr. Tamil Selvi to the dais. Hope you all found today's conference on innovative approaches to quality assurance in higher education for sustainable futures, both enriching and insightful. As we wrap up, we would love to hear your thoughts as feedback on the sessions. Now, I invite Mrs. B. Annapurni, retired professor of JNC, assistant professor of Mary Mother College, to present her feedback.
I wish you all your present evening. I am very much privileged to be on the stage now, along with the great people on the days. I am very much indebted to our college, and I studied also here. I learned so much from our sisters, and the sisters only have molded us. If at all we are able to contribute return to the society, to the institution, it is because of our sisters. And we remain grateful to you, sisters. And I would like to tell you what I would like to take home from this conference. And at the outset, I would like to thank the team headed by Adrian Sarna. And I know a few of them, Anamika is there, and Dr. Lakshmi, and the team. I don't know many of them now. And because of the meticulous arrangement they have made to conduct the conference, and we have been impressed by the hospitality extended to us. It is known for government itself, JA College itself is known for its hospitality, and we feel like at home. Whenever I come here, I feel so good. And for that feeling only, I visit the college often. 3 or 4 times I will be waiting for an invitation from the college. And so whenever I receive an invitation, I have never failed to visit the college. And whenever I come here, I have been welcomed. And if I enter the principal's room, principal used to offer me coffee. And it is very so good of her because she remembers that I am very fond of coffee. And the department also, all the staff know very well. Even I am addicted to coffee, and so they provide it. And even if they provide in each department, if they provide cup, I find it very delicious. All these things are on one side. And I would like to know what I would like to take home from the conference. And I know very well, and it is well known to everyone, that we have renowned scholars on the stage. And our sisters are known for their scholarship and expertise. There is no doubt about it. And so I would like to say, I need not say more about it because it is known to everyone. But the principal is known for her human touch. And in the beginning itself, when she addressed the audience in the inaugural session, she has told us, she has reminded us of the efficacy of clapping. I can't forget it. We have learned it only from the AAC. And she has encouraged us to clap in order to welcome all the people. And moreover, it is good for the health. And another thing also, we would like to take so much from the conference. It will be enlightened, it will be impactful, insightful, all those things are on one side. And she has asked the audience, the participants, to enjoy the day. The human touch is there, right? And so it is special. It cannot be expected from many people. So the sisters want us to enjoy our days here. Whenever I visit the college very rarely, but the people who are here can have enjoyment. They can find enjoyment in their work. It is something rare. So it's a great lesson. I would like to take it with me. And the secretary. And she has reminded us of the shared vision. The vision need not be on the walls alone, or it need not be in the magazine, it need not be in the handbook. It has to be shared by everyone. So it is a shared vision, and so naturally the success also can be shared by everyone. Right? We are going to come together. She reminds us of the importance of teamwork. Right? And how we can work together, how we can reach success, how the success also can be shared by everyone. It is also something, it is only sisters can say this, how people can remain together and work together, how they can maintain interpersonal relationship. So this also is something, a rare virtue that I have learned. Again, I am reminded of this. And Mother Superior, right? And so she has come up with a great ideology. That future in the present, it's a continuum, time is a continuum, we have learned about this in literature. Right? And so the future success of any program also in the present practices. It is something good. We need not think future is far away from us. And so we only have to create future. And the future, and if we want to succeed in future, we have to start working from now onwards. Then only we can think of a successful future and the progress of the institution be found in the curriculum we use. But now it has to be explicitly mentioned. SDGs have to be explicitly mentioned in the curriculum. So the policy of the education should be reframed and it can be done. And she is a zoologist, a naturalist, and I have been much impressed by the PPT she presented because the PPT is against the green background. We are very much, usually it attracts the eyes of people. And so the very first slide has attracted me so much. And so we are moved towards the PPT. We couldn't take our eyes away from it. So it is an actual merit to the PPT presentation. And she has mentioned of the service learning programs. They are very great. And so we are also doing service. Each institution does service. But now we have learned from the experiences of other institutions. So we can think of implementing them. Or based on them, we can have our own service learning programs that can be suitable to our environment. And Dr. Amanathan, right? And so they are doing so much for the society. And they are highly resourceful. The institution itself is very resourceful. And not because of that, and the people are motivated, highly motivated to undertake such service learning programs. And this one, when he said about a handful of grains, I am reminded of the words we have learned from St. Elias Gurigos Chabra, the PDRE system. Our fathers used to say, I am from my MMC, Merivada College, and it also is run by, say, my fathers. They used to talk about the PDRE system, that is non-bill scheme that was started by the founder some nearly 150 years or 200 years back. And so we feel that it has been introduced only in Tamil Nadu first. No, it was introduced in Kerala by the founder father of the institution, CMI congregation. And then it is, we have to remember so much. I have been impressed by the behavior of the students when they share their reflections of their experience. After community service, they return to the institution and they share it with everyone. So it is a new practice. Our students know that they also do extension service, but they stop with the writing a report. So it is not shared. It is orally it can be shared. Then so when the report is submitted, the teacher alone may say it. But when it is sharing orally in the classroom, the students other students also will be motivated to get involved in community service. They will like also. And Dr. Angeline Mehta, and she has said about the space for innovation should be provided for students also, because they will be the future leaders, and it is also good that students can participate in Board of Studies and the SDG committee, and so we can learn about not the bright students alone, the mediocre students also can have a place in all the planning sessions and the planning forums. They can be there and we can learn about their expectations, and they also can be incorporated in the policies and the plans we can make. So it's something good. And so SDGs can be considered a culture, she has told. It can be the culture of the college. It can be the way of behavior of the college. It can be the lifestyle of the college. All these things are very much present. I would like to take all these things back home. I will share it with my the administrators of our institution also, because usually when we return from any conference, our father likes us to share what we have learned. So I have so much to take this time. So I am very grateful to the institution. I am very grateful to sister principal, sister secretary, and mother superior. And they are so close to us, and I have learned about this craft culture activities. It has the service of their knowledge has gone beyond the campus. It is extended up to MMC, and so they are doing so much for us. And so because we rely upon them, it's institution, age-old institution, because we have got a lot of experts here, and so we request sister to lend their expertise to other
highly relevant to the new dance credit system because now I have been recently inducted as IQAC member in my college. So especially I have been taking care of attributes 10, especially 10.8.2, 10.1 to 10.4. So this conference is highly relevant in the especially wastewater management, sustainable bio-based management, and net zero, and especially the green sustainability. So I thought this would be highly useful to me. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Especially I want to thank the hospitality. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Milton, Assistant Professor of English, Bishop Keeper College, to give his feedback. Now we will be moving into certificate distribution. And I invite Dr. Sahaya Tracy, Assistant Professor of Tamil, and Dr. Madhavi, Assistant Professor of Zoology, to proceed with the certificate distribution. I am much honored to invite Dr. Angela Veda, Dean of IQAC, Associate Professor of Chemistry at Bishop Keeper College, to distribute the certificates to the paper presenters.
Good evening to one and all present here. Congratulations on reaching this milestone. Let this certificate be a symbol of your journey of continuous learning. Now invite Miss B. Anamurni, Associate Professor of English, Mary Mala College, Periyakula. Dr. K. Ganeshan, Assistant Professor of Botany, Ayanada Janaki Ammal College, Sivagasi. Dr. S. Melvin, Assistant Professor of English, Bishop Keeper College, Trichy. Our college faculty members, Department of Thermal, Dr. S. Regina.
I invite Dr. Priscilla from UBC to distribute the certificates.
Dr. K. Sahaya Tracy. Dr. U. Anamika, Dr. J. Preeti, Mrs. J. Sharmila, Dr. Angelic Sorna, Dr. Angelic Sorna, Department of History, Dr. T. Krijabai, Assistant Professor of Economics, Dr. S. Kasturi, Dr. J.R. Anuja, Dr. M. Kamal Selvi, Dr. V. Srija, Department of Mathematics, Dr. P. K. Shanti, Associate Professor of Mathematics, Dr. D. Abhinaya, Dr. K. Jayasupriya, Dr. Juliet Christina Mary, Assistant Professor of Physics, Dr. M. Vimala Joyce, Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Department of Zoology, Dr. S. Catherine P. Alexander,
Now I invite Dr. Amalan from Christ University, Bangalore to distribute the certificates.
Dr. S. Catherine P. Alexander, Head and Associate Professor of Zoology, Dr. S. Idulaya Kalaiselvam, Vice Principal Assistant Professor of Zoology, Mrs. F. Serin Rebecca, Mrs. Grace Ranjinam, Assistant Professor of Commerce, Ms. P. Manita, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, Department of BCA, Mrs. Anushya Banu, Dr. P. Malarvili, Assistant Professor of Business Administration, Mrs. C. Kavita, Assistant Professor of Commerce, CA, Department of BO Healthcare, Mrs. D. Jasmine Beulah, BO Beauty Wellness, M. Bhagavati. Thank you to all.
Thank you, dear sisters and professors. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose, as Romans 8:28. As we come to the close of today's conference, it is now time for the formal note of thanks to express our gratitude to all those who have contributed to the success of this event. I would like to invite Dr. M. Dhammasarki, Organizing Secretary, Assistant IQAC Coordinator and Assistant Professor of History, to deliver the word of thanks. Welcome, ma'am.
A very warm good evening to one and all present here. It's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks at the conclusion of the session 2 of our national conference on innovative approaches to quality assurance in higher education for sustainable future. First and foremost, I thank Almighty God for the blessings of this event and enabling us together here today with the focus and determination. The conference activities began yesterday evening with an engaging online
Stand